One-year-old sure shot today, Jimmy Ruffin on a song entitled What Becomes of the Broken-Hearted. That brings back memories. 8 minutes now after 9. I haven't got any candles tonight, actually, so I'm going to sit here and try and blow the lights out all night. I don't think I'll have much chance. Pardon?
Blow the lights out.
No, I'm trying to blow them out.
Oh, I see.
The first birthday, you see. Ain't got a cake, ain't got no candles, so I'm going to sit and huff and a puff at the lights. How about a coffee, Ray? That's it, then. They must be good to me tonight, mustn't they? First anniversary.
Or a tea.
Pardon?
There's a tea, mate.
A tea? I would love a cup of tea.
Come
Love
on.
a cup of tea. I want to be serious now and play this sound, and I mean every single word in this record, believe you me. There were bells on a hill, but I never heard them ringing. No, I never heard them at all till there was you. Till there was you. From the album with the Beatles, song entitled Till There Was You. Very, very true. I didn't know what living was, and I didn't know what human beings were until I met you. Yeah. Well, then I sat here before this microphone exactly 365 days ago, took one look at you, and did I fall in love? Just one look, and I felt so hard. In love with you. That's all it took, just one look. Yes, that's all it took. Doris Troy, there's going to be lots of message music going around tonight. That's a song that was recorded in 1963, and it's called Just One Look. Now, if you want to know a little story, we shall tell you the story. I hate talking about myself, but tonight we'll do it just for a giggle. All happened way back now, let me see, just before Chrissy in 1965, and I was working at Patrick Motors Garage in Alton, which is near Solihull, which is near Birmingham, which is in Warwickshire. Are you with me? It's kind of complicated, but anyway, now let me see what happened. One day, I decided I was a bit fed up, and I wanted to do something in the evenings, you see. So I went to the Locarno Ballroom in Birmingham with my girlfriend, whose name was Pat, if I remember right at that time. Pat Stevens, gorgeous blonde. Yep. And I went to see the manager there, and I said, have you got any jobs going for a disc jockey? And the Locarno Ballroom was the #1 ballroom in Birmingham, still is, and the largest ballroom in the country, actually, one of the Mecca ballrooms. And he said no. So, well, first of all, he said, have you any experience? And I said yes, and this was a lie. I said, I've been working for 2 years as a disc jockey in clubs. Absolute load of rubbish. But he believed it, he swallowed it, but he said no, you see, we have no vacancies at the moment. So next week I came back and I knocked on his door again, and I said, have you any jobs for a disc jockey? And he said, no, stop wasting my time, go away. So I went away, and I came back again the next week, knocked on his door, and I said, have you any jobs for a disc jockey? And he said, no, go away. And that happened about 15 times, and on the 16th time, he was so fed up of seeing my ugly face, he said, oh, all right. He said, you can start on Friday night. And it was round about Friday night, about a week before Chrissy, that I very first held a microphone and played records. And we'll go on from there in just a moment. Occasionally I jump in and say something at this point in the record when there's no singing happening, but it's not necessary. All I want to say is said by the Ronettes in the song. from 63. Ah, baby, I love you. 18 minutes now after 9 on the first anniversary edition of the Sir Johnnie Walker Show.
Get the happy difference.
Are you with me?
La 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 la.
There's nobody listening tonight.
Happy difference. La 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 la.
It's in the air.
It's in the air everywhere. The station with the happy difference.
Pumpkin. Anyway, we started our first job, right, on that Friday night at the Locarno Ballroom. And I'll tell you what happened. I had to be there for 7 o'clock early. People started to drift in around about 7:30, 8 o'clock. And I thought, well, I won't start spieling to the people until it gets kind of crowded, you see, because it's a waste of time, a disc jockey just talking about half a dozen people. More and more people were coming in. And there were about 20 in there, then 30, then 40, then 50. And I was still saying, now, wait on Walker. Don't start spieling yet. Wait for a few minutes more. Wait for a few more people to come. And the place was packed out. I still wasn't saying anything. I was just playing records. I was too nervous. And the manager started walking around, and his ears were twitching, waiting to find out what I was like. Anyway, eventually I started to speak. And I finished work that night about 2 a.m. on Saturday morning, and I was tired out. But I loved every minute of it. It was marvelous. The music's run out, so forget it. We'll take the end off the record. Then what happened? I got a regular spot there every Friday, and occasionally I did Mondays there as well. Then I started at another club because working at the Locarno Club, being the number 1 ballroom in Birmingham, carried quite a bit of doodah, you see. So because I could go to other clubs now and say, I'm a disc jockey from the Locarno Club, you know. Have you got a job for me? So I started work as well at the Carlton Club in Erdington every Tuesday and Thursday. And then I also did, where else did I did the Navigation Inn in Wootton Warren, that's right. That's about halfway between between Birmingham and Stratford. And that's a sort of pub, and they had a discotheque. And I used to work there on Friday nights, Saturday nights, and Sunday nights. So altogether I was working Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sunday. Yeah, I used to double up on a Friday sometimes between the Locarno and the Navigation Inn. Anyway, we'll get back more to the club scene after another sound.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
Johnnie Walker.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Where were we now? I forgot to mention, actually, the tremendous amount of money I used to earn at the Locarno Ballroom. I used to work Friday night sometimes from 7 p.m. until about 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning. And when everybody had gone home at 2 o'clock, because Friday night they had a bar extension, it was a late night being the weekend. When everybody went home about 2 or 3, I used to have to sweep up and tidy all the chairs up and collect all the glasses and all that sort of thing. So I finished there about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I got 28 bob for doing that. Yes, from 7 o'clock until 3 o'clock for 28 bob, and then I was up again. I used to get home around about 4 in the morning, go to bed, and then I was up again about 7:30 in order to go to work. Anyway, I was working in many clubs there, and that lasted for quite a while. And now what happened then? Oh yeah, hang on, I'm trying to think. I've jotted a couple of notes down, but I got a terrible memory, as anyone who knows Walker will know. I fancied myself. No, this is what happened, that's right. I went with my girlfriend Pat to another ballroom in Birmingham to see Don Wardell, actually, who's head of Radio Luxembourg now, and he was doing a personal appearance at that ballroom in Birmingham, and I went along to see him to find out how I could become a disc jockey on Radio Luxembourg. And I went up to Don and I said, hello there. I said, my name's Fred Nurk. You're a very good disc jockey and a handsome fellow. Now, how can you get me onto Luxembourg? And he said, well, if you're very keen, he said, I'll tell you what to do. You must contact a guy called Mr. Lay in London. He said, but don't tell him that I told you. He said, I'll get into trouble from him. So I said, okay. So the next day, I rang up this guy, and he said, yeah, I'll give you an audition. Can you come down to London on such and such a date and bring some about half a dozen records with you and 4 copies of a script or 3 copies of a script or something like that. Anyway, I'll tell you what happened when I went down to London to have an audition with Luxembourg after this one. Oh, you must have a little bit. Now that I've found you. 27 minutes so after 9 on Caroline International, the number 11 sound this week from the Foundation's extra shell of Spangles Muldoons, and it's called Baby Now That I've Found You. Getting back to the old story now, well, we skived our day off work, you see, and caught a train down to London with some records and all that sort of thing, and then we went to, I was terribly scared, frightened out of my mind I was. Anyway, went to the Luxembourg studios. First ever time I think I've been to London, and I went in there very nervous, and I sat down in a great big room at a great big table with the biggest microphone you'd ever seen in your life there, and there was this guy, Mr. Lay, peering through the window at me, and also a couple of engineers as well, and I was very, very nervous, and I'd written a rotten, horrible old script. Anyway, I sat there and read it out, and I could see their faces through the glass panel, and I don't think they were very pleased about what was happening. But anyway, then he came through, and he had me read a commercial, and I completely messed all that up. So he came through after the end of the audition, and he said, well, now let me see now. And I said, well, come on, man. I said, don't mess about. Tell me yes or no, and I want you to be really honest with me, and tell me if you ever think I'll be able to become a disc jockey. And he said, no, you've got no personality in your voice, and there's not a chance. You'll never, ever become a disc jockey. And he hustled me out of the back door into some back street somewhere. I was completely lost. But anyway, they soon got rid of me in Luxembourg. Then I went back to work as a car salesman and grafted again for a while, but I was still working in a lot of clubs. Actually, I'll tell you this, in London, when I was going back to the train to come back home to Birmingham, I thought, oh, that's it. Forget it. You'll never be a disc jockey, Walker. Forget the whole thing. It's a waste of time. And a really professional guy who knows what he's doing has told you you're no good. And then I get on the train. About halfway to Birmingham, I suddenly stopped and I thought, I can be a disc jockey. I want to be a disc jockey. I know I can do it if I really set my mind to it. And I said to myself, I'll prove that guy at Radio Luxembourg that I can become a disc jockey, and one day I'll go back and he'll want to employ me. Yes. And so I made up my mind to that. Then when I got back to Birmingham, I carried on as normal, selling cars and working in many, many clubs. And one day, I don't know how it happened, but the manager of the garage I was working for sussed to the fact that I was using the firm's motor, which I was given because I was a salesman, and I had to run around during the day and see customers and that sort of thing. It was a little Mini, and he realized that I was using it at night time to bomb all over the countryside to make myself extra money as a disc jockey. And also, a car salesman has to work all sorts of hours because a lot of people are at work during the day and cannot see a new car and cannot come into the garage to fix to get a new car. So you have to go out to their homes and see them at night time. And the nights that I wasn't working as a disc jockey, I was working until about 10 or 11 at night, going around and seeing all sorts of customers. And 2 things were happening. One, I was knocking up a lot of mileage on the works motor car, which I wasn't supposed to have been doing. And secondly, I was getting very, very tired because I was working till all hours. And being a disc jockey in a club is very hard work. It's hot, it's sweaty, and it's very hard graft, believe you me. And so I was rolling in late, more or less, every morning, and the manager of the garage got a little bit fed up with this, and he said to me one day, come into the office, Walker. And it was a Friday. I remember it very well, and I'll tell you what happened after this.
Johnnie Walker makes this into go, go, go,
Here it is, my sure shot this week. Someone there.
I'm a soul
fantastic record. Sam and Dave for Stax Records. And Jan, if you're listening tonight, get the tape. Johnnie, thank you. That is on Stax and a brand new one. That's my show shot this week. And I'll remind you about the Sam and Dave tour a little later on when we get out the subject of Johnnie Joker. Terribly boring, isn't it? Anyway, what happened now? Where were we? Oh, yes, the manager says, into the office, Walker. So into the office I went. And he said, you're late every morning and you're half asleep and you can't do your job properly. And there's my Mini that belongs to the firm and you're running around all around Birmingham in it every night, looning about as a disc jockey. And he said to me, you must make a choice between either being a disc jockey or a car salesman. I remember his words to me. He said, one man can only serve one master. And he said, you cannot do two jobs and you must choose between one or the other. And he said to me, I'll give you a couple of days to think about it. And I said, I don't need 2 days to think about it. And I made my mind up in 2 seconds. Now, before I tell you my decision, well, you know it now more or less, but what happened is this was round about the beginning of April. And I was 21 years old last year on March the 30th. And I sat the day after my birthday, and I was sitting there in the car showroom, and I suddenly stopped, and I thought to myself, here you are, Johnnie Walker, 21 years old, sitting in this showroom, and life is completely passing you by, and there's a whole world out there, and you come in here at 9 o'clock every morning, and you leave at 6 or 7 or 8 o'clock at night, then you go to a club, and you're missing everything. There's so much passing you by, and so much you can see, and so much you can learn, and all this sort of thing. And that's when really I made up my mind that I was going to throw up the job and try and do something that was a little more different and more exciting. And I made up my mind then that if I couldn't become a disc jockey, then I would take off and sort of work my way around the world, spending a few months in each country. Anyway, he asked me my decision, and I said, I'll pack it up now, forget it, finished, I want to leave. So he said, okay, you're a fool. He said you could be manager when you're about 25 years old and all this sort of gear, you see. He really wanted me to stay, I think. Well, not because he just thought I was making a bad decision, that's all. But I made my mind up. And so that I said, do you want me to work a week's notice? And he said, no, that won't be necessary. He said, you can leave tonight. So that very Friday night, I left my little Mini behind, said bye-bye to the garage, said bye-bye to everybody, and walked all the way home, which is about 5 miles. And I got home, and Mum was there, and Dad was there, and they said, why are you late? And I said, well, I had to walk, actually, you see, Mum. She said, where's the car? You haven't been in an accident, have you? I said, no. I said, I won't be having the car anymore. And she said, why not? And I said, I've finished. And they couldn't believe it. They could not believe it. I said, I've thrown the job up, I've finished, I don't want to know, I'm sick to death of sitting in that showroom all day long and flogging motor cars. And my old man went completely balmy. Went mad. Yes, didn't you, Dad? Are you listening? You're not. Good job. Dad went completely bonkers, and he said I was crazy, and he wanted me to go back and change my mind and apologize and get my job back again. And he said, I'm not having you in this house unless you're bringing money in, and you'll only loon about, and get on your mother's nerves and all this sort of thing. And he said, you should have got a job before you packed up your other one. And I said, well, never mind, Dan. I said, I'm going down to London next week to see if I can get a job on either Radio Caroline, Radio London, or something like that. And Mum said, that's daft, because Luxembourg said you could never become a disc jockey. And I said, I know I can, and I'm going down to see about it. Anyway, I'll tell you what happened after that. What's a long story, sir. For the President Record Company now, here's Felice Taylor to sing for you.
I need happiness, I need joy, I need heaven now.
Felice Taylor on the song called... Really, I do. That's my President. I feel a love coming on and singing it for you, Felice Taylor. 20 minutes now before 10 on Caroline International. And in case you've just tuned in, there's a lot of rabbit tonight because Walker is telling his life history, being as it's the first anniversary, all right? 365 days to 9 o'clock on Caroline. Now, where were we? Oh, yes, I said that I'd go down to London that next week and see if I could get a job on one of the offshore stations. Anyway, that Saturday night, I had to con my old man's car to get out to the navigation inn in Wootton Warren because I was working there as a disc jockey that night, and he was very reluctant to lend it to me, but I managed to persuade him, and I drove out there, and while I was there, somebody said to me, why don't you try and get a job on Radio England? He said, it's a brand new station, and he said there was an article about it in the Daily Mirror today. So I thought, I said, I'll think about it. Anyway, I forgot all about it, and then I got home, and I looked up the Daily Mirror, and I read the article, and it said that there would be mostly American disc jockeys on the station, and it would be going on the air sometime toward the end of May. So what I did on Monday, I rang up the Daily Mirror, and I said, could you give me, please, the number where I can contact the people who are behind Radio England? So they gave me the number of the Hilton Hotel, and I said they said the people with Radio England are staying in room number 1017. I remember this very well. 1017, that's the room number at the Hilton. And there was a guy there called Jack Nixon, and also Ron Quinn, who were two guys from Texas who were over here as a sort of advance party for Radio England. So I rang them up, and they said, well, you have to make a tape up, Johnny, and send it in to me. So I said, okay. So that night, I made a tape up, and then I thought to myself, I thought, Walker, make the tape up, but don't post it, because if it goes in the post, then, they'll just look at it, and maybe they won't bother to play it and all that sort of thing. So I decided that I'd go down to London the very next day with the tape and make them listen to it. Tune in to the end of this record, the next thrilling installment in the life history of Johnnie Joker.
I feel it in my fingers, I feel it in my tongue. It's written on the wind, it's everywhere I go. So if you really love me, come on and let it show.
Oh, come on now, don't be shy.
Come on and let it show.
Come on and let it show.
Come on and let it show.
Trump's out for page one record.
Come on and let it show.
Number 50 on the countdown this week entitled Love Us All Around.
Come on and let it show.
15 minutes now before 10 on 2:59. Now, what happened the Tuesday morning, saw Johnnie Joker with Mum's tape recorder and a tape in hand, climbing on the train in Birmingham and going way down to London. When I got to London, I walked round to the, no, I didn't, I got a taxi, that's right, from Paddington Station to the Hilton Hotel in Mayfair, and then went up to room number 1017, knocked on the door, and said, here I is. I was on the phone to you yesterday, and I bought a tape for you to listen to. So we plugged it all in, and they listened to it, and I don't think they thought very much about it, and they gave me a newspaper, and they asked me to go away into the bathroom of the suite they had there, and I had to read out a newspaper article onto a tape machine, and then they listened to that, and they were a little bit doubtful, but I think if I'd sent that tape in by post, they would have turned me down. But because I'd come all the way down from Birmingham and taken so much trouble, I think that's what sort of got me the job. Anyway, they said, yeah, we'll take you on a trial of 4 weeks. Anyway, I was thrilled, completely overjoyed and out of my mind, and when walking out the Hilton, nearly forgot Mum's tape recorder, 6 feet up in the air, and dashed to her phone quick and rang her up and said, Ma, I got the job. Yeah, and that was one of the happiest moments of my life, to be able to ring Mum and say I got the job, because before I left, she said, don't hold out too much hope. She said, you failed the one at Radio Luxembourg, and she said, I don't think you've got very much chance. She wasn't being nasty, but she didn't want me to build up my hopes and then be very disappointed. Anyway, I got the job at Radio England, and that was where I met Roger Day, because he also started work there, and along with a guy called Brian Tilney, we were the only 3 British disc jockeys on the station, and all the rest of them were Americans, and they sort of trained us a bit, and they gave us a good training, and they taught us to use the personal approach in radio, and that is you never use the expression ladies and gentlemen or boys and girls. You never talk in plural, you only talk to one person, and that's you. And I think that was a good lesson to learn from them. Also, another thing was they must have us sitting there with a smile on our face. And Ron Quinn, who was the program director, used to sit there with a rolled newspaper in the studio, and if we went smiling, as soon as we opened the microphone, he used to bang us over the head with it and say, smile, Walker, smile. And you'd sit there with a big plastic grin on your face, grinning away, which wasn't such a good idea, and all they had you doing really was yelling, swinging Radio England, much more music, and Bath Radio all day. But anyway, we were learning about radio, which was quite good. But Radio England wasn't a very well-organized station, and they spent a tremendous amount of money, which they didn't have, and they got into trouble for that, so they quickly left the country, actually, November 13th of last year, leaving behind a lot of bills, including one for a big party at the Hilton, around about 10,000 quid. Anyway, that's by the way. Actually, I've got lined up on the tape machine what they call in the trade an air check, which is just a tape recording of a live program cutting out all the music, except just for the beginnings and the endings of the record. Now, I'll play this to you at the end of the next record, but I warn you, I sound completely different. I'm very, very strange, so if you've never heard me on Radio England, you're in for a shock, because as I say, we're sitting there with that plastic grin on our face, and I hadn't a clue what I was saying. I really was not a very good disc jockey. What else must I warn you about? Hang on a second, I thought of something else. I can't... Oh yes, the jingles. This thing here, actually, let me put it in and tell you all about this. This noise...
Johnnie Walker.
Now, that is made by what's known as a sonovox, which is an electrical instrument that the Beatles have used in some of their records. David McWilliams uses it on Days of Pearly Spencer. And all that happens is that a guy in a studio talks into a microphone, which is then fed into this thing called a sonovox, which alters the whole sound of the human voice. So it's not me saying that, as some people used to think, but some guy in America, and it was Radio England who got these jingles for me from America, so you'll hear them on the tape as well.
Johnnie Walker.
There he is, yes. Also, you'll hear some other jingles on the tape, which Caroline now uses, but I'll leave you to work that one out, all right?
If I got on my knees and come crawling to you, little girl, would you love me once again? Would things be like they were before? If I promise to be a good boy and be the way you want me to.
That's a brand new one from John Walker, released by Philips Records, entitled If I Promise. To be a good boy, will you love me? 10 minutes out of 10. Just before I play the tape, I shall cringe when I play it, because it sounds diabolical, and you'll be in for a shock. I tell you, it's terrible. Anyway, let me tell you something about the work on Radio England. I used to work from 12 midnight until 6 in the morning, 6 hours straight, and then when I came off at 6, I used to do then take in the news off the teleprinter, retype it, and then broadcast it on Britain Radio at 7 o'clock, Radio England at 7:15, then Britain Radio again at 8, Radio England 8:15, Britain Radio at 9, and Radio England at 9:15, and then about 9:30 I used to go to bed. But I couldn't sleep very well, because one of the big snags that have always been with the radio ships is that the crew on board tend to forget that the ship is housing a radio station, and then they tend to live how they would live if it was a normal ship, and they make a lot of noise and banging during the day, and the guy who does have to work all night long used to find it very difficult to sleep. And also, of course, he could never get any meals through the night, as all the cooks and everybody would be in bed. So if he wanted to eat, he used to have to break his sleep, grab 3 hours, get up and eat, and then get another 3 hours, and all that sort of thing. So it was a pretty hard scene. And also the crew on Radio England, some of them were Spanish, some of them were the Dutch. Not hardly any of them could speak a word of English. And times were pretty hard on that ship. Roger Day would, where is Rog? I thought he was there. Anyway, Roger Day would verify that. But anyway, here it comes now. Radio England air check from roundabout, let me think, roundabout September of last year. It's sing-song time on the Walker Show. I forgot all about that. Fun sound number 27 from Chris Montez. There will never be another you. Do it now.
There will be many.
You sang that beautifully. I could hear you all. It's la-la time now. La 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 la. 28 most music minutes after 12, they heard the sounds of Chris Montez. Fun for you, number 27 in the Fun 15, called There'll Never Be Another You. Little headband thing now on Swingin' Radio England, the Johnnie Walker all-night fiasco. We're going to Seoul at 2 o'clock just for a little experiment sort of thing. We're here till 6. These are the toys.
I'm a toy.
Swingin' Radio England, hitband sound of the toys. There's 3 toys I'm not too old to play with, and their song was called Baby Toys. Hey, darling, where are you tonight? Oh, there you are. I'd like to ask you a little question. Have you ever seen your mother, baby, standing in the shadow? Which brings us to the Boss Jocks Pick of the Week. And not only do we love the Beatles on Swingin' Radio England, we're also pretty kinky for the Stones.
Johnnie Walker. Go! Charge!
Fantastic, fabulous, wonderful, marvelous Rolling Stones. Call, have you ever seen your mother, baby, standing in the shadow? And I'm not too sure about that. And there's darn flies running all around the place in the studio this evening.
Remember this golden classic.
Thanks a mile to go, Pat End and Johnnie Walker remembers the sounds of Freddie Cannon. Here the song on.
Swinging Radio England.
Hey, look at her, what a chassis, man. Tallahassee, Lassie, do it now. Well, I think we've had round about enough of that. You'll get it from that, are you listening there, Rog? Rog? Oh, it's all right. Roger Day will be along in a moment, tell you a little more about Radio England. But you heard some jingles there, which are going out at the moment on Caroline. But the scene with jingles in this country, let me tell you, jingles are made in America. One of the big jingle manufacturers are Pam's, and they cost a tremendous amount of money. And nearly all the offshore stations used to use some jingles which they got out of American tapes and all this sort of thing. And everybody was pinching everybody else's jingles. And a lot of them came from Radio England, such as this one, which we are using to this moment.
Remember this golden classic.
Yeah, but as you can see, we cut the swing of Radio England off the end of it. Yes, naughty Caroline pinched the jingle. Radio London pinched a lot of jingles as well. Yes. Anyway, several things rather you'll discover from that tape. One is Walker couldn't sing then. He still can't sing now. He didn't know what he was talking about then, and he doesn't now. And also, he was just as naughty then as he is now. How about that? Every now and then, that's the best way to have it. Yeah. Naughty boy. Anyway, we'll get on a minute of the sound now. Roger Day reckons he is going to interview me at 10 o'clock. You are?
Yeah.
That is a complete surprise. I haven't a clue what he's going to ask me, but anyway. Nobody knows what's happening on this night. These are the Dallas Boys now, a brand new sound released by the Major Minor Record Company. He won't love you the way that I do. That's the Dallas Boys there on Major Minor with a song entitled He Won't Love You Like I Do. You can't hear anything in there, Raj.
No, sorry.
You can't hear anything?
Not at all.
Hang on in a second. Hang on, but get this done now in just a minute there. I got to patch something through that. It's a little bit complicated.
You're right.
Just a minute now. Hang on. If I go from... if I go from there like that...
that side, yeah. And get the one in there. All right.
Go down to that one in there. Now, if you plug your cans in the tape machine now, and you can't hear what I'm saying.
No.
Spiel for a minute, Raj. Hang on.
Turn the pink button.
Turn the pink button.
Press down the 9 levers on the right-hand side. Pull that big black lever over there. Turn that big pod up. That's the idea. Right, more. Left hand down a bit. That's the idea. Now press those 9 and 10 switches in front. After the pink one, the 4 yellow ones.
Yeah.
Two green ones.
Very good.
A red one. You've got it now, haven't you?
I'm all right
now. Pull down that large grey lever. Mark danger. That's it.
It's here now.
No, not too far. It'll blow up. That's it.
It's here now. You can hear me now, then, Roger, can you?
I'm with you.
You're with me. Good.
Yeah.
Now, what you going to do?
Okay, I'm going to ask you a few questions so all the people will know all about you, because unless a member of the Jean Club know nothing about you, or hardly anything, all right?
Nothing personal.
Have
you got BL?
We'll start off with birth date.
Birthday?
Yeah.
30th of March, 1945.
Right. Birthplace?
Brummagem.
Yeah. Now, these are personal points. Height, first of all.
6 foot tall.
Weight?
150 pounds, whatever that is. 10 stone 10 or something.
Yeah, I'd say something like
150 pounds, 9 importance.
Yeah, it's all right. The animal's interrupting here. Sorry, Raj, carry on.
Right. Colour of hair?
I don't know. What would you say?
Brune.
Dark brown.
Yeah.
Dark brown.
I'd say so. Long as well. And eyes.
Will you shut up here, Admiral? We're trying to conduct a sensible interview. Will you get out? You carry on, Raj, sorry.
Colour of eyes?
Blue.
Red. And what's your age?
22.
Have you got any...
Dale, if you can't shut up, get out. How's that?
96.
He's got a loud mouth and he's sitting here with his shredded wheat. Carry on.
Any brothers or sisters, Johnny?
Wait a minute, let me think. 3 brothers. No. 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
Oh, very good. Marvellous.
Took some thinking out, didn't it?
I think I've got a mum and dad as well somewhere.
Yeah. Here's one for you. Married or single?
Single.
Yeah,
definitely.
we know that.
The only way.
Anyway, where's your home? When it used to be,
Solihull in Warwickshire.
Right.
Hampton in Arden, actually, but that's more or less the same thing.
Where were you educated, old boy?
Solihull Public School.
Ooh. And at the age you started as a disc jockey?
20, wait a minute now. 20.
Yeah?
20,
oh,
yeah.
Right, okay. The biggest break in your career?
When he was exiled.
Radio England, I suppose, would be the biggest break.
Yeah, it'd be mine too, actually. And biggest disappointment in your career, if you've had any?
Biggest disappointment?
Yeah.
Meeting me.
Meeting Robbie Dale.
Okay. Any TV shows you've been on, Johnny?
First Timers.
Yeah, great. Is that it?
No, for Granada Television.
Oh, yeah.
Mauled in action for about 2 minutes.
Very good. The biggest influence on your career, if there is one?
Biggest influence?
Yeah.
That's difficult now. There was an influence of the American disc jockeys to a certain extent with Radio England.
Yeah.
But I think I've more or less sort of steered my own path. I don't think I've, trying to think of, I try to be original, and I don't think really, as regards to disc jockey, I've been influenced by anyone.
I mean,
I used to...
Nobody in your family sort of thing saying,
No, I used to like Tony Hall very much indeed. When I was about 18 or 19, I used to listen to him on Luxembourg.
Yeah, well, he used to be the king around that time.
Yeah.
That's it. Following your occupations,
Car salesman, garage mechanic, that's it.
Hobbies?
Hobbies, motor racing. Can't get to do much of that in the North Sea, never mind.
Exactly.
Driving is my second love to records and working on radio.
Used to be a racing driver once upon a time, didn't you? If I remember rightly.
Amateur, At the weekend, like, if I could have hired it.
Favourite colour?
I haven't really got one.
No?
No.
Blue.
Blue? Yeah?
Say blue.
This afternoon.
Yeah, I like blue, but I haven't really got a favourite.
Oh, well,
Blonde is pretty good.
Favourite kind of films.
Blonde is pretty good.
Yeah? Right.
Carry on.
Favourite... Laugh.
We got a lunatic in here.
Favourite food, anyway, Johnny?
Favourite mum's cooking without a doubt.
Yeah, I agree to that. Yeah, you can't be... Favourite drink?
Favorite drink. How about this? Water. How about that? I love drinking water. No, my favorite booze drink nowadays is vodka and bitter lemon.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Favorite clothes?
Oh dear. Favorite clothes?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's difficult, isn't it? Brazilian. Anything that I think suits me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you like the sort of current trends, though?
Oh yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Favourite singer?
Favorite singer, Uncle Otis.
Yeah, I thought it'd be that. Favourite actor or actress, any?
Favorite actor, Patrick McGowan. Favorite actress, I don't know, I haven't been to the pictures for about 3 years.
Don't have much chance. Right, favourite composers?
Composers. I think John Lennon and Paul McCartney.
Yeah, gotta be the tops. Favourite groups? Or group?
I haven't got a favourite, no.
No?
No.
Like them all.
If I like the record, then that's it.
Okay. Dislikes, if any?
Dislikes?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a terrible question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dislikes Robbie Dale, the BBC, socialism.
Hey, you're including me in the serious ones, do you mind?
I'm sorry, no, Robbie Dale is the loony one, and then the serious one's the BBC. I hate monopolies. I hate anybody who's against private enterprise. I hate unfairness and lies and deceit and all that sort of thing. A lot of things I don't like, but
Yeah, well, an easier one now. What's your likes?
Likes?
Yeah.
Everything else apart from what I said, I should think. That's the best way out of that.
Yeah, that's a very good one.
Robbie Dale, I like him.
Hey?
I like Robbie Dale.
Do you really?
I didn't really mean it myself.
That brings us round to the most thrilling experience.
Oh, meeting the Admiral. Oh, yeah. Most thrilling experience, seriously.
Yeah.
One of them was travelling down Snedden Strait at about 140 miles an hour in a Lotus, and then having to break down to about 30 miles an hour to go around a hairpin. That was pretty thrilling.
Must have been fantastic.
And then another one was opening the News of the World last night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Marvellous. Taste in music, not many more to go. Soul, yeah.
Yeah.
And personal ambition. Don't get it mixed up with professional. Personal.
Personal ambition.
Sort of private life thing, you know.
I haven't really got one now.
No? Well,
I'm the sort of guy that doesn't look all that far ahead into the future.
Yeah.
If my ambition was to become a top disc jockey and earn a lot of money, I probably wouldn't still be with Caroline.
Yeah.
No, you know.
I see.
I haven't really got... I just want to be happy. That's one of the reasons why I stayed here after the 15th, because if I got to work for another radio setup, I wouldn't get the happiness that I get out of Caroline.
Oh, good. That sounds a professional one.
Yeah, well, I mean that. That may sound too good to be true and extra nice and all that thing, but I mean that very sincerely. Caroline has got wonderful listeners, that's you, and there's wonderful people to work with. Like Robbie Dale. You're a lovely fella. You're a lovely fella.
Oh, dear.
Don't forget, I'll say that when after midnight. Is that any more?
No, I think that's it, Johnny.
That's
fine.
right. Right, well, thank you very much.
It's all right.
Yeah, fine. Hello there, Glenn. We'll be able to play another sound there. Now you know, did you want to say something, Admiral?
Did I?
Yeah, you said you wanted to. This is going to be funny. Watch out for this one now.
Yes, I catched him now, eh? Public speaking, and on his auspicious occasion, I'd like to add my few words to what has been said by the Honourable Roger Day in the other studio, and that is congratulations to our very own Sir Johnnie Walker. No, seriously though, many congratulations to Sir John, because he got himself voted #1, and it came at a very appropriate time. When I say appropriate time, because I was about to fire him, you see.
No, I can keep the job, can I?
So,
keep the job
for the first time in its existence as a journal, the News of the World can say they have honestly contributed something good towards the man's career. No, fantastic though. Marvellous to hear that Johnnie was voted #1 in the News of the World. I'm very proud of him, as I always have been, and now that he's been on the ship 1 year, I'm going to start teaching him to change his own nappies. Well done, mate.
All right, thank you, Robbie.
Well done, Sir John. 3 deals for Sir John.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
I'm going to buy him a new white Charger.
I shall remember this night for a long
and
time.
I'll tell you what, as a special favour, I'll grease your armour in the morning.
Thank you very much. I think I'm going to cry.
Oh, dear.
It would be very appropriate to have 3 cheers for Johnnie Walker at this stage. Don't you, Robbie?
1, 2, 3, hip, hip.
Hooray!
Hip, hip. Hooray! Hip, hip. Hooray! He's arrayed himself. What is the joy to tell for you when I wake up every morning? Birds are singing songs now when I wake up every morning. Birds are singing songs that's going in. I feel good, just like I should, like I knew I would, 'cause I knew I could, just like I should, like I knew I would, 'cause I knew I could. I'm feeling good, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I'm all overcome, I am. That's the Static there with a brand new record released by Page One. That's the title, When You Went Away. Thank you, Glenn, for the coffee. You're lovely. 15 minutes now after 10 on Caroline International. And actually, to get back to the story now, you heard that air check from Radio England. I worked with Radio England from May until, let me see now. I'll tell you exactly the day I finished with Radio England. I noted it down today. Saturday, October the 15th. 1966 was when I finished with Radio England, and what happened was a newspaper came out to the ship. We got no message from the people who ran the station, but we just read it in a newspaper that one of the 2 stations on board that ship would shortly be going to over to Dutch, so that they would broadcast to Holland and maybe to get some Dutch advertising and make a little more money, because they were a bit short of it. So I sat there and I suddenly thought to myself, well, Radio England has competition from Caroline, from London, from City, from the other pop stations, but Britain Radio, the good music station, only has competition from really 390. So I sussed to myself that would be Radio England that would be going Dutch. Therefore, all the disc jockeys would be out of work. And I thought, well, every one of them is going to run to Caroline or to London, so I better get out of here quick. Because there are times in your life when you've got to look after number one. I'm all right, Jack, and that sort of thing. So I left. I walked straight off the ship that Saturday. And that Saturday night, I went to the Wimbledon Pally and saw Tom Lodge and said, can you give me a job on Caroline? He said, it's all down to a certain gentleman I had to go and see at Caroline. So I went to see him on Monday, and he said I took my tape in that you heard. That was the actual audition tape that got me the job on Caroline. He listened to that, and he said, well, you're out of work anyway, aren't you? And here again, I had a little bit of lies, because it is very easy to get a job when you already have one, but when you're out of work, then you're rather a victim. And really, the people you're trying to get a job with sort of have you by the, as it were, you see. So I said, no, I'm not out of work. I'm still with Radio England. I haven't packed up the job, and I'm still working there. And he said, well, I've heard the station's going Dutch. So I said, funny, I've heard nothing about that. If he's listening now, he'll have a pink fit. Anyway, so he said, all right, then we'll give you a job. He said, how soon can you finish with Radio England? And actually, of course, I'd finished. What a barefaced Lao Walker is. So I said, well, I have to pop over to the office and tell them, and then I'll be all through. So anyway, I got my job with Caroline, and I started here, as I said, today, last year. That's October the 24th, 1966. And my very first time on the air was sitting in for Rick Dane from 9 o'clock until 12. And then for about a month, as I remember right, I had my own show between 3 and 6 in the afternoon, because the Emperor Oscar had left at that time. And that was the Johnnie Walker show. And then Rick Dane left because he wanted to work on shore. And after about a month, I think I took over from Rick Dane from 9 until midnight, and that became the Johnnie Walker show. And I haven't got many tapes of the early shows that I've done on Caroline, but I do have one of a Johnny's Jive Time, which is something I used to have from 10 until 10:30. The idea being to pack in as many records as possible and cut out the chat and always have music running. So I'll play you a little bit of that tape at the end of the next record. Zabaldak. On the top 50 countdown this week, Dave B. Dulcie Beaky McIntosh, and a song called Vampire. 22 minutes now after 10 on Caroline International. Just remembered a slight detail which I forgot, and which I ought to mention, because, you know, maybe without him I would never have got the job with Caroline. That's a good old Admiral. And I remember that Monday, the Monday after the Saturday I left Radio England. I had lunch with the Admiral in the Playboy Club, of all places, living it up, and he actually put a few good words in for me in the right places, and helped me very much to get my job with Caroline, and helped me an awful lot since then. And I hope he isn't listening at the moment, but, oh, that's Ray just walked in. Just at this point, I'm going to get a little more sentimental at 11 o'clock and say a few things. Not to say goodnight to one person, but goodnight to you know, everybody. But I just want to say that the people on Caroline, way back in the old days, Dave Lee Travis, Micah Hearn, Keefers, Steve Young are some of the best people I've ever met in my life. Some of the nicest people to work with, and we never really ever had any bust-ups on the ship at all. We had a few occasional short rows, which you're bound to have when there's so many people living in a small space, but never anything serious, and it all used to blow over in about 5 minutes. So maybe if any of those people are listening tonight, maybe DLT or Michael A., we miss you all very much out here now, and I miss working with you a lot. Things are a little bit different, and we're having to get used to that. So I just want to say thank you, and it was my pleasure to work with you. And thanks to the Admiral as well. That's my little tribute to Robbie, and all the boys out here are the nicest people you could possibly wish to meet. They really are. That's about that. Pretty difficult to say that, yes. Anyway, what we'll do now is play an air check, another little air check for you, of a tape recording of a show I did. I think it was toward the end of December last year. Actually, I haven't got many things from the past, because I'm the sort of person that doesn't keep a diary, and when something has happened, I sort of forget about it, and I don't keep things from the past. I'm not that sort of person, but I did find a couple of old tapes. One was the audition tape, and this one was a Johnny's Jive Time from when I more or less first took over the Rick Dane show from 9 to midnight, and it became the Johnny Walker Show. Anyway, here it is.
Johnny Walker.
He's on!
Welcome, goodly one, into Johnny's Jive Time for Sunday night. From now till 10:30, we're gonna move! Yeah, little darling Johnny Walker loves you. You're a goodly one. You're gonna do things for me now for 30 groovy minutes. All the sounds that you want to hear from Motown, from all over the place. They're all goodly, they're all groovy, and they're coming your way right at you from now until 10:30. So don't you dare move anywhere away from that radio set now, because I promise you a good time. Been sorting some goodly ones out from the music library for you tonight. Oh yeah, first thing is a real gapperoo. I tell you, you're going to like it. And if you're ready for the first record tonight on Johnny's Jive Time, we will roll the drums and introduce it now. My old-time favorite, a golden goodly thing to start off with. Here are the Seasons 4 now, the song called Opus 17. Don't you worry about me, baby, because I'm doing real great, and so are you. Sing now.
I can see there ain't no room for me. You're only
Don't you worry about me, baby, I'm feeling goodly. The Seasons 4 for you on a Sunday night. Golden goody time once again now. Here comes Eddie Cochran and a song called Weekend.
Friday night, everybody wear ties on the weekend.
Bam, 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 bam. 6 minutes downside of 10 o'clock, Johnny's Jive Time. Turning on the nation from now until 10:30. There you heard Mr. Eddie Cochran.
So you had a big fall on the weekend.
That was the name of the song, Weekend. Gonna make a sound for the Emperor in a moment. First of all, you listen to this thing. Big follow-up to Sloopy from the McCoys now. Got everybody moving in the discotheques last year in a song called Up and Down. Come on, goodly one, move now. Those be the McCoys there, moving goodly sound for you on a Sunday night on Johnny's Jive Time. Song called Up and Down. You have the Super Supremes, don't you? Baby, you got 'em.
Let me see, why don't you beg to be a man about it?
A former keeper's sure shot on Caroline, ex-number 1 sound. Now number 3 on the countdown, the sensational Supreme. Oh, you keep me hanging on. Willie Mitchell, make me some music now. Yeah. Gonna do a sound for the Emperor now. I was listening to the Emperor show last night on Caroline, and he mentioned yours truly. It was very, very nice of him to remember me, because I have never met the Emperor because he was not here when I arrived. So on Johnny's Jive Time, right now, 11 minutes downside of 10 o'clock, here is the thing for the Emperor. Oh, it's turning on the nation. Yeah. Goodly sounds of a guy called J-Mo Thomas there, I Spy for the FBI. Back to the countdown now, the number 33 sound, here is Frankie Valli. I'm not the proud one, I'm the goodly one. That's Frankie Valli there, the number 33 sound of the nation. Oh, yeah, what a sound. 16 minutes downside of 10. Hit me with something big now. I like it, I like it. Here's the Honey House, song done for you on a Sunday night by the Showman. Those are the Showmen there. This is Johnny Walker on the Sound of the Nation, making the sound for you. Oh, yeah, from now till 10:30, we just got some, 12 minutes left. We're going to pack them in, don't worry there. Great group from America, the Showmen, the song called the Honey House. Here's the song that drove me out of my bird in the Birmingham clubs earlier on this year. A Motown mover from Mr. Marvin Gaye. Ah, the Birds used to go mad with this one. Come on now, Walker. Ain't that peculiar? Get out of here, will you? Well, that's about it. That's an airshake of a show. We cut all the music guys this year, just the beginning and the ends of the records, done by yours truly, around about December of last year. We change a bit, don't we? Yeah. Always changing, because if you don't change, if you stand still, then it's all over, you've finished. You've always got to try and do a show better than the one you did the night before. Yeah, hard work being a disc jockey, believe you me. Anyway, very nearly 10:30 on Caroline, and as I mentioned about 5 minutes ago, won't be saying goodnight to any particular person tonight, but at 11, there's a few things I want to say to you. You know, you're the one that writes me a letter for a good night, the one that's very special to me. So we'll talk just to you at 11 tonight.
The Admiral Robbie Dale.
Takes this into go, 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 go,
That's it from David McWilliams' Robbie Dale Shusha this week on 259. A song called The Deeds of Pearly Spencer, just one of the two A-sides on a major minor single. And he wrote both songs himself, remember that? 28 minutes now before 11, and we'll get on with some music now, a little less rabbit. But between now and 11, I'll let you know how I thought of the ideas of saying goodnight to people, and also Kiss in the Car thing, which we got up to.
Way down Louisiana, close to New Orleans.
Hey, Johnnie, be good. He's always a good little boy. You ask my mom. Sounds of the Bud family there on Caroline International. A flashback called Johnny Be Good. That's an old Chuck Berry song. 25 minutes to 11 now. And there's something gone wrong with the echo. Hello there. 1, 2. Hang on. Just a minute now. I'll give it a belt. Hello. 1, 2. Hang on. Let me give it a kick.
Yes, like a bit of echo now and again. Hello there.
Oh dear. What a horrible noise. I think that nearly blew us off the air there. Only, no, we still haven't got it. Never mind. We'll forget all about it. I shouldn't think it'll work at all now after that. Anyway, about saying goodnight. I think it was around about January or February when I decided maybe at 11 o'clock I'd stop and select a favorite record of mine, which I used to play a lot on Radio England, which was Warm and Tender Love by Percy Sledge, and play that and say a sort of little good night and hope you've had a nice day and have you have a good night's sleep and all that sort of thing. And also Warm and Tender Love to send you off to sleep. And then, like so many ideas that come to you, they were helped along by you, which is the greatest thing. And you have helped me tremendously since I got to Caroline last October. And I remember I had a letter from a girl saying, I sort of like the way that you stop and say goodnight to us. Well, why don't you say a special goodnight to me? And I thought, well, that'd be a nice idea if I chose a different letter every night and say goodnight to a different girl. And that's how a good night started. As regards Kiss in the Car, one day at 11:30, I thought, well, there must be a lot of people sort of on their way back from dances now or something like that, and they're parked up, because I used to do the same thing. And I think that's a secret, and that's a tip from yours truly to any disc jockeys who are working in clubs or maybe, trying to get a job on the radio. I suppose I'm in a position to offer advice and tips. I don't feel it, but I suppose I am. Anyway, what I've always tried to do is try and stop and think of you and try and place myself as being a listener and not on this side of the microphone. And I think if you can stop and think that, and think exactly what the listener wants to hear, the things they are getting up to while they're actually doing your show, and then trying to bring that into the show, and so you get personal contact with the listeners, and they realize that you're not just a voice and a machine playing records, but a normal person like them who gets up to what they do, which is kissing in the car, which is a big thing. And I think that's the thing to be able to do, is to be able to turn yourself around, forget you're a disc jockey, and just think of it as a listener, and try and imagine what people are doing at the time you're on the air. And so naturally, you use a different style and do different things at nighttime than you would do in the morning. Something like that. Anyway, that's how Kiss in the Car started. And then I thought of the licensing idea, and I designed a license myself, and I asked Caroline if they'd pay for it. Yes. I hope the boss isn't listening tonight. And they said, well, we're a little bit short of the old bread there. So I bought the licenses myself, and I went with Tommy Vance, I remember one day, to a printer's in Birmingham, and designed it around the road tax license, and started sending those out. And we sent altogether, I think, about 18 or 19,000 licenses out from around about January this year to August the 15th. And that's an awful lot of licenses. And I used to send them out from the ship, but I found that in the peak of Kiss in the Car and all that sort of thing. I was getting around about 3,000, something like that, letters a week, and I was doing 2 shows a day. I couldn't handle it, so I asked Mum if she'd do it for me, and that's when we bought the post office box in Solihull. And Mum worked very hard, sending out licenses all day, and Mum also offered to run a fan club for me, so that's how that started. And altogether, I think the licenses cost me personally around about 80 or 90 pounds. Lot of money, but it was worth it. And if you have a Kiss in the Car license, keep it, because it might be worth more than threepence in about 20 years' time. When I'm back sweeping the roads, there's a new one from Graham Bonnie. That's Papa Joe from Graham Bonnie. That's his brand new one, released by Columbia, and a very nice song. 19 minutes now to 11, and hello there. 1, 2, hello, we've got some echo back. Very temperamental echo machine we have on here, but the echo machine puts a little bit of presence on the voice, and makes it a little bit better, you see, because it's a bit grotty normally. Anyway, brand new album out on Major Minor, entitled Dr. Dolittle Loves Jazz, and it's done by a pianist by the name of Gordon Beck, plus Kenny Baldock, who plays bass, and Jackie Duggan on drums. And it's Gordon Beck's jazz versions of the music from the film Dr. Dolittle. And Dr. Dolittle was a very famous legendary doctor who gave up his practice in Mayfair and moved down to a country village and started treating animals, and eventually he learned 468 different animal languages. And there's a brand new film out all about it. Anyway, these are the jazz versions of the tunes from the film, and this one is track number 4. I think I've got this right. Yeah, track 4 from side 2 of the album. It's called I Think I Like You. That's the biggest